Afternoon, guys. I hope all y'all doing good. So I wanted to talk to y'all about some stuff called MDS. It's my personal journey, I guess. So a lot of times you don't know what is going on. It's so about 2 years ago, maybe a little bit longer than 2 years ago, I've been going to regular doctor's appointments. Everything's fine, blood work's checking out. Excuse me. And then so I go to this one doctor's appointment, and so my blood work is all messed up. I mean, this is how I found out. It's Myelodysplastic, something or another. It's I'm gonna post more videos, but so it's a pre-leukemia is what it is, a type of leukemia. So everything's going along just fine. Then you go to your doctor. You don't really feel bad. You don't really think anything's going on. And then you get a phone call saying, "Hey, let's recheck your blood work. Your blood work's kind of off." Okay. So the first little precursors of this stuff, MDS, and you can punch in MDS on an internet search and pops up all kinds of stuff. So I'm not an expert on it. But so your platelets are low. Then you have low red blood cells, and you have low white blood cells. And your bone marrow is not it's not doing what it's supposed to do. It's your bone marrow is not producing healthy cells. So your doctor says, "Hey, let's repeat your blood work." Okay. Well, it's still messed up. Then he says, I was taking omeprazole for GERD, and then he says, let's get off of that medication for about a month, and we're going to redo the blood work. Well, after that, blood work's still the same. So after a couple of times of taking blood, I'm thinking, there's something wrong here. My blood work shouldn't be all messed up like this. Well, he refers me to a hematologist. Well, I get down there, and they draw blood work, and they talk about, they're calling it thrombocytopenia or something like that. Basically a technical word for low blood cell platelets and stuff. Well, nobody has said pre-leukemia yet. Nobody. So, we're going for blood work every 3 months. Just see. She's talking about, what? Your platelets are staying stable. And I said, well, what do they do for this kind of thing? They're talking about, well, there's a pill that helps, increase your platelet level. Sometimes if they get really low, we do blood transfusions. Nowhere has anybody said cancer yet. Leukemia. Well, that's what it is. 2.5 years into it, and your whole world changes. So, I've seen before all this, I saw they said, I want you to see a liver doctor. Well, the liver doctor, in so many words, he said, man, you're too fat. I want you to lose some weight. This is all the, the stuff, we're going through, trying to figure out why my platelets are low. And blood cells, and, just all the stuff. Well, I've had abdominal sonars, I've had spleen sonars, and I've had gallbladder sonars. Well, I want to say that, if you have like a fatty gallbladder or something like that, it can inhibit. I don't, I'm not a technical guy. It does something with your blood cells. So inhibits something. If it's enlarged or sick or something like that. So in the meantime, when they first discovered my platelets were low, then they took me off the omeprazole for a month, which that was I had bad GERD or heartburn, whatever you want to call it. No heartburn with the omeprazole, by the way. Then they checked me for a fatty liver, a fatty gallbladder, all this stuff, abdominal sonars. Nothing remarkable, nothing crazy. So the liver guy says, he doesn't come out and say it. He says, you may have a fatty liver causing the problem. I'm going to give you 8 months, and then I'm going to send you to a nutritionist. I want you to lose weight. Okay? Well, I've had problems with weight my whole life. Can't remember, I've always been a fat boy. Well, then I run across this guy at work, and he just looks like he's, lost a bunch of weight. And the time I saw him before that, he was a big guy. I'm not talking tons of weight. So I asked him what he was doing, because it's hard for me to lose weight. Um, so he's doing this thing called a keto diet. Well, I check it out, and he's got this app on his phone. Tells you how many carbs you can have a day, how many how many carbs, proteins, and all this stuff that you can have a day. Well, I put the app on my phone, and I start using it, and man, weight's just falling off. It's like, wow, this is great. And I go from like 240. This is not last October, but October before last. I was like 240 pounds, down to like 190, 185. So it's plateaued off. So I'm happy with where I'm at. I'm not I don't struggle to keep it there. I stay on the keto, and I teeter back and forth. Regular food keto. Well, lose all the weight. With all that being said, lose all the weight, or lose 50 pounds, and not a thing changes. What the heck? So, in the meantime, I'm seeing this hematologist every 3 months. Well, this has been going on 2.5 years. So, a couple of weeks ago, my platelets dipped to 57. So, when we're talking numbers, when you say 57, it's 57,000. Your normal is like 100, when they're using the numbers, 140. Well, it's 140,000 to 400,000. Somewhere in there is normal. But it dropped to 57 now, and I've already done the abdominal sonars. I've done a bone marrow tap. They tapped my hip, pulled out bone marrow, and looked at all that. There wasn't really anything crazy there. So when they dipped down to 57, they wanted to do another bone marrow. Well, I've been referred to a bone doctor now. So I've moved from hematology to bone doctor, bone cancer doctor, to be more specific. I'm been treated at the hematology bone cancer treatment center. In the meantime, all of this, I'm living oblivious, I guess you could say, or maybe in denial. Maybe more in denial. So, I'm thinking, this is going to be something they can fix, with whatever. Well, it's pre-leukemia, MDS. If anybody mentions that you have something called MDS, look it up on the internet. It's pre-leukemia, depending on what stage you're in. That's what it is. It's leukemia. So I see the bone doctor, and he says, well, they did the bone tap, and it came out what he said, compromised. It wasn't a good test. So today is what is today? Today is Tuesday the 13th, February the 13th. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I'm doing another bone test, or bone marrow test, to see where I'm at. If it comes back clear, then I don't have to do anything. But if it comes back with what they call a bone blast, that's what they're looking for. Bone blast. if you hear them talk about, if you've had a bone marrow test. So if that comes back greater than so much percent, it is what they gonna treat with chemo and stem cell. So during this whole trip, I'm living oblivious. I'm cold all the time, so I got a little heater going under my desk at work. Try to stay warm. I have 2 jobs, and it wasn't until last night, I watched this video, and I realized that my whole life is about to change. Because I'm thinking, go down to the hospital. The way they tell you the chemo burns out your stem cells. Then you have a donor, which is most likely going to be my daughter. They want young stem cells. They got an age that they cut it off. My brother is too old. He's older than me. My daughter has agreed to sit in a chair for 8 hours while this blood machine, kind of like a dialysis machine, filters out her stem cells. Okay, so if my test comes back clear and positive, and what I mean by that, clearly positive of greater than X percent, then I get to go play in the hospital for 4 weeks up on the bone marrow unit, playing boy in the bubble, because they're going to burn out my immune system and my stem cells. Then they'll take my daughter's stem cells, give me a bone marrow transplant, and all this is supposed to take 4 weeks. Well, man, I'm thinking 4 weeks, hey, be back, everything's going to be back to normal. No. I'm watching this video last night, and they're saying, we want to keep you close to the bone marrow transplant center for at least the first 100 days and all this stuff. And there's a graft donor syndrome that can develop. So if you go through chemo and stem cell for a bone marrow transplant, wake up and realize your life is going to change. I'm not talking numbers, statistics, or anything like that. I'm talking real life stuff. You just you go from, hey, my platelets are low, to I got leukemia, and nobody has really said you got cancer yet. And you start digging around and looking at videos about what your problem is or what problems you're having, and now you're talking to a hematologist, and then you're talking to a bone cancer doctor. And they say it's totally curable, but there are side effects, and your life is going to change. So, with all this being said, you know, there are cures for MDS. They can get rid of, but they, you know, a video I watched last night also said, you know, it's like any other cancer; it can come back. And you know, I work on an ambulance, so you know, I've heard all those stories. My partner, the guy that I work with, so he had leukemia, but not the same type of leukemia I have. And they put him on this pill, and he was on this pill for years and years and years. And they did blood work every so often, and rechecked him, and finally they said, okay, you don't have to take this anymore. But leukemia is curable. It didn't come back with him. You know, it's been like 15, 20 years with him. He's been a survivor. Yeah. So I'm gonna post more videos about MDS as I go through this journey of whatever it is. So to put a time frame, we're looking at 2.5 years. So Friday, day after tomorrow, I do a bone test. And like I said, if that comes back positive, then we'll be doing the bone marrow transplant thing, and I will post videos about that, so you can actually know what's going on with that, for if you are going through the same thing I'm going through. But just be aware, if they ever mention that, it's pre-leukemia. If they don't use that word, pre-leukemia, ask. You know, I said, do I have cancer? It's blood cancer. MDS is a form of blood cancer. That's all I know. So anyway, prayers, be good to each other. Know that, you know, God is in control of everything. And don't stress it, man. Live your life. Don't get crazy, and just keep doing what you're doing. I mean, the only difference that I feel these days, I'm a little tired and I'm cold a lot. So I keep a heater running under my desk at my office job. And there you go. I play guitar, bass guitar. You can see that in the background. I ride motorcycles. I almost sold my motorcycle because, you know, I was thinking, oh, you know, low platelets. If I hit something and crash, I'll die. Well, you know, turns out it's a cancer. So, you know, I'm going to ride as long as I can. So there you go. Enjoy life. Don't give up on life, because stuff happens. You know, your family loves you. God loves you. As long as you got a good support group, everything will be cool. Love y'all. Peace out. Treat each other good. Subscribe so you can catch all the videos, because I'm going to start doing some videos on this. I don't know why I haven't in the past, but this is a real life MDS case. Love y'all. Peace out.